Can you hear me now? We good? Can you hear me now? No. Why can't you hear me? Yes, I see a yes, yes, yes. I switched over my microphone. So all of that. Okay, so you guys can hear me now. I think we're good. I see yes, yes, yes. I guess I don't know why StreamYard changed my audio to something I don't use. Darn it, hate that. But anyway, today is a full jam-packed class with all of your website settings. Thank you for letting me know my audio because it's showing that it's working, but I don't even know what it was set on. But we're going to go over our basic settings. I'm not going to go through everything because there's a lot inside of just our settings. I want to make sure you know how to add different content pages and that you are, I mentioned, I don't think the audio worked. Hopefully you're taking some of these summit classes because there's a ton of nuggets even I'm taking away, and I'm in there every single day. So make sure I'm going to show you where to sign up for those to make sure you're doing those. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen. Let's move this over, share screen. There we go, add to stage. So now you can see my dashboard. Of course, as we're going through all of our settings and all this website fun stuff that I absolutely love doing, put in any questions you have so that we can make sure to answer those. I'll probably be checking those throughout as we transition to each aspect, or I'll make sure to go through at the end to answer those Q&As, as well as if I don't get to it, I'll be looking through those comments and make sure, you know, I'm always looking for videos, tutorials that I can be posting in the group. So I'm always looking for your feedback. If I don't already have a video, it gives me the opportunity on making video. So I thank you guys for that to keep, you know, I have blogs and I did post that, did a comment. I'm constantly adding videos and blogs with the step-by-step or visual. If you like to, I call it play, pause, do, just watch me do it. Those videos inside of my blogs are usually under 5 minutes answering a specific question. So I did put that link in there. I've got a ton of stuff that you can go and look at. But first thing we're going to do is, let me just go through everyone. Not a PDF. Dawn, because you signed up for the class, you should get that replay email after the class is done to be able to watch it. It's also on my YouTube channel. And if you're part of my Bold Trail expedition, which is what this is really for, it's all in that whole replay with any goodies and stuff like that. But here we logging into your Bold Trail, you know, you go to Max Center, and then usually it should be in your apps if you have it highlighted as a favorite. Otherwise, you can go to all apps and you'll see everything where you can favorite them. If I just have a few favorited, so it's kind of always right there. Or you can just do a search right there for Bold Trail and you'll see that app. So that's how you get in there to begin with. But we're going to go right into our main dashboard. We're going to go down to the web and IDX. And I absolutely love how everything now is right in front. It makes it super easy now that we have the Bold Trail like interface where everything's right here. If you are a team leader or an admin like me, when you're going to work on a website, you need to make sure you're on the correct scope. So you can see I have all of my offices, I have my company, and I have all the agents and teams. You just want to make sure by default, it's always going to show yours. So depending on what website you are looking to change settings or do any editing on, if you are an admin or team leader, you're always going to want to make sure you have the correct scope set up. One thing that I love is if you are an admin or team leader, if you do changes and modifications on the team site or your office site. So if you're one office, you can do it on that company level. If you have multiple offices like us, I have a company and branch sites. So I can set up my branch sites. My agents will inherit those designs. Now, my agents or your team agents, They all have their own individual site. They can make their own edits, but it is nice if you do set that up for them. So that way everything's done. It will not override anything an agent may have already done. So if they've added widgets or anything like that, the agent, if they're like, oh, I was just messing, I totally messed up my website, I love what you've done, they can remove what they've done and automatically inherit what the office has set up. So just something I absolutely love. It makes it a lot easier on that team scope or on your company or branch site scope, is that your agents inherit the design. So it's kind of, you get to set one up and all the agents inherit and they can modify as they wish. So lots of good things. I am quickly going to, well, there's not really a whole lot of quickly. There's a lot of really cool things. I'm going to go over my top frequently asked questions that I get on the team or just on the website settings itself. One is, you have all of these great templates. I believe by default, it is the regular RE/MAX template. I personally love the collections look. At first there were some issues with the fonts being the same color as the background. I personally like the navy blue. I like that it looks a little different. So that's the one I have. It has my social down here. Then I can add my own graphics or video or whatever, same thing. But it does, this is kind of the template on the agent team, or the, I think it's the team, and the companies don't always have that right there. But I can also add my own widgets. So I can add my own searches and all of that fun stuff. You can do community, you can do lifestyle, you can do all sorts of different searches, and we're going to go over that. The other widgets, I just personally love the navy. Then it brings in the office profile information, and you have all of your testimonials, and then you have your carousels. So you can have one, you can have up to 3 different carousels, and we'll get over that part. And then of course your blogs will be down here at the bottom. And then the areas we cover, that's where when we get into the content, you can add in cities, you can add in your SEO, you can add in a lot of cool different things. But this one is the luxury. So different things you can do. I promise, and we've done a video, and I had a lot of people looking at it, because you cannot break your website by changing this over. So if I'm like, oh, do you want to see the difference? Typically when we make these changes, it's live. I refresh my screen and we're good to go. Let's see. Let's go over to RE/MAX. I am going to go ahead and save. So you can change that look and feel by toggling over to the different website templates. It's just going to give you a different look and feel. So now I just showed you what the luxury one looks like. Let's see what happens if it's going to be live. Let's cross our fingers that it's live, that I refresh, and it'll give me a whole new look. So now you can see I still have that white header, but now I have my informations in white, not the navy. It brings in my office. One of the top questions I get is, where is this? A lot of times on a company level, we have the office profile, not the logo, but the office profile. That usually was always meant to be an office building. For some reason, I noticed all of these graphics are super pixelated. So we need to update that. That is going to be pulling from your brokerage profile. So if you have multiple offices, each office is going to have its own profile for the logo, for the office building. I just put in for that we're a Miracle Office. So the building felt cold. So I just thought this will be a nice way, because it's going to be on all the agents by default, their website. So we just did a nice little Miracle Office branding instead. And of course, here's the other widgets that I had. They just continued on the different way that the testimonials pulled over. Here are my carousels and my blogs. So you can see it's just a little different of a look. So don't hesitate to just click on which one. You can always go to view. It's going to kind of show you what that's going to look like by default. Sometimes it may say you have to remove your widgets, because it's going to bring in a whole different pack of widgets, but it's super easy. All of the widgets that you add are in your history. So if it removes any, I just go back in and add them and reorganize them. We'll get into that. So don't hesitate to go in and play. I don't think you can break it. Go in and check out which one of these templates and the widgets that come with it do you like the most. You can play. So you have 6 different versions. These are all kind of the default bold trail inside real estate. These are the ones Remax has completely customized for us. So a lot of that information, the profiles and stuff like that, are going to be pretty dominant in those different profiles. You can also, if you want something totally different, unique to everybody else, they do have templates you can pay for. I want to say there are prices. So you can see, I think one of the cheaper ones is the $8.50. It's a one-time fee. It's going to give you a different look and feel. It's not necessarily adding content. You can add content on with the add-ons they have, but this is going to give you a different look and feel than what we get out of the box. You just pay for it. A lot of it may be coding. So if you're someone that likes to play with your website, it may not be the option you want. So it will add in design coding, and you really can't modify that unless you know how to code. So I usually just try to use what we have available because there's still so much we can do within our websites and the scope of all the different elements and widgets and stuff like that. Let's see. Anna asked, how do we change the profile? The office logo. Everything that's pulling in the office logo or the office information is coming straight from the office profile inside of MAXCenter. So when we go over into our titles and stuff, I'll show you my profile and how you can edit those. But anything that's office related is going to, so this logo here is what we have for our office logo inside of our MAXCenter office profiles. So I had to change it up for each physical location that we have, but that's where that's going to be pulling in from. So if you don't see like the balloon, you just see Remax in gray font, it may be because your office doesn't have a logo, and that's what's going to be the default. If it's really small, I've seen that a lot of times. This information hasn't really pulled over to our websites before. And I've seen where people upload, offices, their logo is tiny, tiny, tiny. And it's because when they uploaded their logo, it wasn't cropped. So it may have been like a square and there's all this white space around it. Now, when we upload our logo for the office inside of our MAXCenter, we want to crop that as tight as possible so that it can be as large as possible on our websites. So I have done a couple websites where the office logo is just, you can barely see it. It's like a little dot because when they upload it, it's huge, but the logo is like that size, but there's a lot of white space. So I would recommend checking out your site. What does your logo look like? Modify that just by going in and uploading that into the office profile. As agents, we cannot control that. That is done on that broker level for where that logo or that building photo like I have here, that is all done on the brokerage level. So if your logo doesn't look right, maybe reach out to broker manager and have them fix that. Yes. Yes. So go in, see which ones you like that we already have. I personally do like the luxury one. It's just really pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and switch that back. You can't break it, I promise. And usually everything we do is live. So other than our profile settings, our title, anything like that, they only sync that information a few times a day maybe. But anything we do on our site is typically live. Sometimes it may take a while. Usually if it takes a while and it's not live, that's usually when good stuff is coming because they're working on that platform in the back end. So I'm always like, oh, there's an update coming. So I get excited if it doesn't change live. But typically whenever I do something on the website, it's always live on my live site. So that's always good to be able to visually see something like that. All right. So here I would recommend, even if you use a video, that default photo, which I don't even know if it's in here, inside real estate, bold trail, there are some great photos By default, it is, to me, obviously, like having a Florida site, that Boston neighborhood in the fall default photo just doesn't fit Florida at all. So whether you go to Canva, if you have Pro, you have so many photos that you could be choosing from. It's crazy. Upload your own or go through any of the photos they have here to change that main photo. That's going to make a huge difference in your overall look of your website. If you use a video, videos do not play on your mobile site, nor when you are sharing your homepage to Facebook and that automatic thumbnail pops up, that's going to pull in a photo you've chosen here. So you're going to see that weird Boston neighborhood if you have not changed it here. And they're very small on my screen, but just choose a few of them and then go through your website. This isn't an automatic carousel. It's just going to be one of these photos that show up on your homepage. And you can see I uploaded my own, but choose or upload your own right here. It gives you the size that 1600 by 650 is best. You can go into Canva. You could upload your own. Go to Pixabay, Pexels, Shutterfly if you want to have a really beautiful photo and pay for it. There are a lot of platforms. Do not ever, ever, ever just go to Google and find a photo and use that. Never, ever, ever. That could be like a 10,000 fine everywhere you used a graphic that does not belong to you. So Canva, you have the rights to use it for your website. Pixabay, Pexels, there's a whole bunch of websites that you can get images that you're allowed to use. And do that. Never, never, never. Let's see, question. Did you say Miracle Network was an available widget? No, I just made that. And if you want that, send me a message. I can upload that because I've used that a lot. I just created my own graphic that shows we're a Miracle office and replaced our office building with that because it just felt more warm, community driven versus, a built photo of a building, because that just, I don't know. It felt cold to me just to have a picture of an office, unless you have a beautiful interior photo of your office. Absolutely. I've seen people use a team photo for that spot. I think those are great. I just use the Miracle Office and I'm happy to upload that for you guys. Let's see here. This is where I added a secondary logo. So on an agent level, for sure, if you have your own branding and it looks weird here, but you can see it doesn't look weird up here. They do recommend a square logo to look the best. And I agree with that. If you're going to have a lot of menu bars, titles and that navigation, sometimes depending on the template you're using, the text may go in to this secondary logo. So you can see mine is longer, not a square, but I also don't have a lot of anything on my navigation. I do have it set up that way on all of my agents. So that's the default, but they can change that. We're a huge Miracle Office, as you can tell. So we added that as our secondary logo. But for sure, if you have your own, upload. It's all about branding. So whatever logo you may have, try different ones. Just know when you go to upload that, make it as tight as could be when you'll be able to see that you can crop it. Make it as tight as could be. That way it'll be as large as possible in that header area. They want you to have the dimensions. They want it to be a square. So go to any square Instagram post, make that. I have mine where it's going to be more horizontal. So it's longer, but I don't know that there's dimensions. There may be if I cleared this, but I don't have it to be able to upload it right back up. So just add in a secondary play, you upload it, refresh, see what it looks like, add in another one if it doesn't look okay. I personally hide my resource page. You don't have to. Going down, forced lead registration. This is by default. Anybody who goes to your website can look at 2 properties. I think on that second property is when that forced registration pops up. If you're looking for leads, that's perfect. I do like the 2, not immediate, only because it's kind of like fishing for leads. So I want them to look at how nice my listings look on my website. I want them to see there's other listings, all the things to do, and then I want to hook them. So if that's what you want more leads, you're going to want to change this. So the normal is prompt registration after 1. So on that second property, they're going to hook them. If you're like, I really don't care about online leads, but maybe I want a prompt registration after how many property views, you get to decide, but they can X out of that box without registering. So maybe you want to do that. Or like me, this is a training site. I don't want leads. I don't sell real estate. So otherwise, I just want it to go to someone else. So I don't have anything that's forced, but it's completely up to you. Change it around. I can say doing monthly reports on how I have my settings, the amount of leads. If you do normal, you're going to get a lot more leads. If you do anything where maybe you prompt it, but have it after 3, your lead count will go way down. You'll see that. But the thing is, you can come in here and change it at any time. So maybe try something for a month, look at the amount of leads versus what you may have had before, and then you can come and edit it. So you get to have complete control over what you want to set up for your website. Here's where you could mandate a phone number. They recommend not doing that only because the amount of registrations you're going to get are going to decline severely. So if you're looking for leads, maybe not have that. If you're like, I only want people that are serious, I don't feel like having the looky-loos, then maybe you'll mandate the phone numbers. I do have the ask name. So that way on that form will be a name and their email. The system's pretty smart. When that forced registration box does come up, it does have them put in their cell phone number for the password. So that's kind of like a neat way to try to get that phone number, I guess. But that's where you could, I want to ask a name. I don't think it's required, but it's something I want to display so that they might fill it in. Your website title and homepage meta description, make sure that's all SEO stuff. The title is basically, you can see right here, it shows up in that tab name, but it also will show up right here on my website. So you can change that. On an agent level, you can even do more. You could have it be different up top and that title in there. It's a little more advanced. It's in a lower setting there, but you can even put in your cell phone, your email, whatever it is you may want to have, you can do all of that. Let's see here. Ask for property unit number. I would turn that on, especially if you're in an area that has condos. When somebody goes to that cell tab and can type in an address, like this is Florida, so lots of condos, it'll have that unit number. It's not required, but it's there because you would want, if you're in an area that's going to have unit numbers, you want that to be there for someone to put in a unit number. It's going to allow you to do a little bit more research to be able to reach out to them. If you have your own different types of, forms or the Google Analytics or anything like that, you can add in where it says, put this in your header on your website. You have the spot for header, body, and footer to be able to add that information to your website in the header, the footer, anything like that. So you can add, it's all code. And it's usually going to be an application like when we did the snow effect or the bat effect, it said to put this code in your header. That's where we can add in some more fancy little things that we can do. I know somebody had asked if we had a spring thing. That would be pretty cool if there were flowers. So I have to do some research. See, I know Inside Real Estate, they're the ones that had posted how to do the bats and the snowfall and stuff like that. Conversion code, that's going to be more of like that Google Analytic. If you're doing deep dive research and not just adding in that little code, that's where that'll go. Custom chat widget. Facebook username, definitely, it's kind of weird. So you have your Facebook username. You can put in a business page or your personal. It's going to be a chat widget that shows up at the bottom, and you have to toggle it on unless it's already on. But you just need your Facebook ID. And I don't even know that I should have the whole facebook.com. I think it just wants my ID, which is basically my username. If I were to go onto Facebook, it's in my URL when I'm on my profile, or your page name is like your at Social Marketing Nut or something like that. I personally manage way too many pages, and the messages from all these fake people is ridiculous. So I don't want messages going somewhere that's super hard for me to find. So I just have it on my personal. Then coming down here, a little more advanced, Zillow. If you want to add in your Zillow reviews to have it synced, that's where you can put that in. Let's see here. If you're a team or an office, you can toggle on inherit child. So it's a parent-child relationship for the team leader and agents, or brokerage and agents. So on my main company website, we do have an inherit child testimonial. So any agent that's manually adding their reviews, it'll automatically display on my office website. If you want a video, this is where you would add the little ID at the end of the YouTube video. So, and as you can see, almost every element, if you're looking to learn more, just click the learn more and it's going to take you over to their help and give you the tutorial, the full lowdown on what it's for and everything else. So if you want a video, it'll be everything youtube.com/blah, blah, blah, V equals, and that's going to be that ID number. And when you click on learn more, it goes into detail on where that number is that you're looking. So if you want that, I still say add your own graphic or choose another graphic, just so when you're sharing your website or on the mobile view, it'll show that photo that more represents your area. No. Oh, I still had your other one. We cannot, that I know of, change the navigation that's by default. So it may be like your resources that I think this one by default says search. You can see here, there's a tiny dot. It looks like I have something on my desktop. That is the cell. But when I do that, it literally takes them out of my website to this page right here. So I really don't want seller leads or anything like that. So I changed that to be a dot. And that's all in the navigational part that we'll get to. So that was just my workaround. I don't want the seller page on there. So I didn't do that. But I can't remove them. I can only change the title. I have seen where people have added some different things under the drop down, but we don't really have control over that. Only the content and pages that we personally add, and that'll all go after their defaults. We can only change the name. I think this was search, then we have sell, and then about or something like that. We can change those names. I can't add to them or anything like that. It's kind of what the system has by default. I can only control my content, my pages that are after that. Good question though. Yeah, so when we get into the navigation, I'm going to show you that as far as being able to change that name. A lot of these, don't mess with them. A lot of it is going to be depending on what template you're using, this will apply to. So if you're going to play to see what happens, I would only toggle one and refresh your site to see if it even makes a change. A lot of these are going to be on the inside real estate templates themselves, as far as the, large background, small background, black, showing my agent as a square or not, or, all of that. So I usually don't mess with that. It's not going to be for every template. It's just some templates in there. But once you get to the custom navigation, let's see, what does it say? Let's see. When I am, oh, that's actually a good question, Todd. I know when I'm doing my property boost or my squeeze page links, it's a different rule other than my default settings for my website. So when I'm doing squeeze pages, I do have it forced registration. I want them to see that one property. It'll be that default, so 2 properties. But it's going to be different than what my rules are for my website, if that makes sense. I am not sure on the property boost. The property boost, I believe it's almost like an automatic form they click on to be able to see that when property boost is going on. That's why we get so many leads. And that does show you the immediate versus 2 versus 3. So those usually have separate rules than just when somebody visits my website from a link or something like that. When I'm using my squeeze page, landing page, or the property boost, they kind of bypass my website settings, if that makes sense. When it comes to the navigation, this is where when I add content, do I want it in a category for the drop down? Do I want to add it as a single page or a single link? This is where you can choose, and you'll see you get 4. So whether you're doing categories, which allows you to have a bunch of pages on one, so you can see like cities here, a ton of pages created. Buy and sell, here's all of that. Resources. So we have all of these independent pages, but I put them in a category because it allows that drop down. But you'll see here is just a link. It's not a category. It's literally going to take them somewhere else. So as we build our content, we can decide what we're going to do with that. You get 4. So it could be 3 categories in a single page. It could be 2 pages and 2 categories. The categories just allow you to add more content in that drop down versus that single page or just a link. And here is where you can change what the default is, where this is the search label. This was the sell label. And you can see I just added a little period. Make sure when you make any changes, you click save so that it'll change. But here's where, if you have the finance, if you've added lenders on that team or company scope. Resources, I put that hidden so you don't see that. The agents, so it says agents by default. I just put about me because it's especially on an agent site, it's just kind of my information. Or if you have it on a company level, you could do about us. So that's just where you can just change what you want it to say. Try to keep them short because we only have so much area in the top. And again, that navigation, if you have a really long name for one of your titles in that navigation, it's going to either loop into a second row, which kind of looks weird, especially if there's a bunch of categories and drop downs. They're all going to be like on top of each other and make it harder for the consumer to find something. So I always say, make those titles as short as could be, even the categories. So that way you can add in more without them encroaching on a secondary logo or without them wrapping on your website. So that's just where you can, try to keep it as short as could be, but where it makes sense. So I think we used to have featured areas instead of cities, but then the text got too long and it would start to wrap. So just trying to think outside the box into what makes sense. Super easy to change those out. So all good. But that's where you can change that default text. I just can't get rid of them. All of that. So here's just more, the homepage. This is going to be those listing carousels. So you can see I have my listings. If I don't have listings, which I don't, it'll automatically default to the company listings or my office listings. So if you're multiple offices, I believe it is only your physical office, those listings will appear there. And it automatically happens. The same thing when someone hits featured, it's going to show your listings on that little map. If you don't have listings, it'll go to the office. So I think this is showing all of our listings and with the map. If I had a listing, it would show my listings on the map there. By default, it'll automatically change over to my companies. And here you could do areas, and you can see I turn it off. But here are the different ones. You could have your listings, just listed, just reduced. Those are pulling from the entire MLS. You have sold if you've added manual, sold all MLS. And just know, not everybody has sold data. It is all dependent on your MLS and what they allow. A lot of websites I've done do not have that sold data. If you're doing an area, that's going to pull over from the cities, that areas we serve. It'll only allow me to choose in the ones that I've added. So if you're looking for a specific area, make sure under site content, when we jump over there, that you have that city listed. Those are also all down on that bottom of your homepage, and the areas we serve all the way down here, areas we cover. So that's where you can choose if you want an area to put that. So I'm just going to turn that off and save. Of course, if you have Google Analytics, I've done a quick video. I think it took me all of 2 minutes from start to finish. Always, 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 it does not cost anything. If you already have Gmail, it is super easy peasy. Just go to Google and Google Analytics. It's going to walk you through setting up your website, getting this code. Even if you aren't crazy in numbers and analytics and all that fun reporting and stuff, it's good to put there. It doesn't cost anything. You can go visit it once a year. Maybe we'll do a class on let's look at what's going on. It's going to tell you a lot about how people are finding your website. What content are they reading? What pages are working by people staying on? What pages are people leaving from? It's going to give you a lot of information that is super valuable as you're building content and stuff like that. What blogs work? I mean, I know just because I have the analytics, my #1 blog every year was silly. It was just literally our school calendar. It was a PDF. I copied, pasted, made a cute graphic, added a link to the school board and some other stuff. Always our #1 blog every single year. Stupid simple. But people, I mean, I'm kind of glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. But I was always, when we're planning vacations and all these events or whatnot, I need to know when does school out? When is early release days? What holidays? All of that craziness. As parents, we kind of need to know that stuff. It was my #1 blog. Add it. Be the resource. Give them something Zillow doesn't. I'm not sure what the ID number is. For Rose, is that for Facebook or for a YouTube video, the ID number? Marlene, I'll post that in the Tech and Tools group. I have them there. I'm always happy to share that with anybody. So, and this is more of the office, but again, this is where I can have a different tagline in that body than what's showing up on the navigation, all of that, the use agent tagline. Going down here to listings, if you have a rental or commercial property or vacant land and it is not showing up on your website, it is my #1 place for agents to look is under the listings, which is all the way down here. What are you showing you want to display on your websites? If you do mobile homes, I had an agent that had a rental. It was like a friend. They don't usually do rentals, but then they're like, well, why isn't it under my listings? My first thing is go into your listings. Let's see if you have rentals checked or not. And they didn't. So if you do have a rental or a commercial or something like that, and you want it to be on your website and searchable, you need to make sure these boxes are checked. And again, yours may not look the same as mine. This is going to be compared. It is basically pulling from your MLS and what's, your options. I've seen some where there's 5 options. I've seen some where there's all these other things. Obviously, some may have views depending on your MLS and where you're at. So if you make sure to go through the listings, everything checked will show up in a search on your website. So if somebody were to try to search for rentals on my website, nothing's going to pull up because I don't have it as an option. So I don't do rentals, all of that. You can choose, and just know if you have a rental right now, but you don't really do rentals, but you want it to show up, click on rentals. When that gets rented, come back into your settings, uncheck it, refresh, you're good to go. Now there's no more rentals. So you can change this on the fly as you need to. If you have multiple MLSs, this was such a wonderful thing. I think it was November or December that they finally put in this MLS deduplication. So if you have multiple MLSs, I would toggle this on, because it does, like when you're in present, when you're doing the market reports, when there's two of the same listings, it's going to skew those numbers quite a bit. So make sure if you do have multiple MLSs, click that deduplication. You can sort if the same property is listed on these 3 MLSs, which property do I want? What is my MLS? What is my main MLS that I want to always default to be shown from? So we have Stellar, which is kind of a lot of Florida, but we also have Space Coast, which is our core. But a lot of people may put it in multiple the MLSs. So of course I want anything, if there is 2 of the same property addresses or properties, I want it to always display from our SCAR, not from Stellar. So you can choose what you want. The same if coverage area, usually most can leave this alone. But if you happen to be with a company that's like in 7 states, you may want to choose your county. Or like those that are in Florida that have Stellar, it basically, I mean, it's from Daytona to Tampa and kind of a little in between. So maybe you only want to put in the counties you actually serve. So that way they're not seeing the whole state of Florida. You only want to see the counties you serve. So that's where you could toggle coverage area and put in those counties and areas that you actually serve. It really will be depending on the MLS. And then this is more of the same kind of stuff, and I'm not going to go ahead and add into that. All right, so that's basically settings. Let's see here. Pending. Oh. Pending bring back up. You're talking about in the listings section. Do I have pending? Yes. So I have pending in there. So if you don't want anything that's under contract or pending or anything like that, uncheck it. So you only show active listings. It's completely up to you. You get to choose that. And welcome to RE/MAX, Virginia. I dare you to try. Although I did have another agent when I always said you can't break anything, she actually did break something. And she somehow managed to delete her smart number for her office or something. So Kitty, I don't know if you're watching this. Somebody did actually break it, but no, I promise, like I have done live classes, like let's try to break the system. We can't. And if you do, I want you to reach out to me so we can Zoom and figure out what you broke. I don't think you can break it. I promise. So now that we went through the basic settings, the biggest thing is changing that area, that main header photo, make it be your area. There's so many things. I mean, that's going to make a huge difference. Add in your branding to that secondary logo and make sure the listings you want are on there. Make sure your forced registration is how you want it set up, all of that fun stuff. No, those rentals are coming from remax.com and we cannot control those. Trust me, I have tried everything. It's just, we can't. Those are coming from remax.com. I know on my brokerage sites, I do not display rentals either. They're all coming from remax.com. It's not, this is basically for our personal websites or team or company office, something like that. So I don't want them on my website, but I can't stop the ones coming in from RE/MAX. But what I would definitely recommend doing, find out what agents in your office do rentals. They're hungry. They're willing to do anything. They're happy to convert those over to, talk to a lender, get them to buy, transfer any of those leads. Find out who those agents are and you can transfer them, sign them over. Like, hey, who wants to do rentals? I'll share them all over. When you get that lead, you can easily transfer it to another agent in your office. That's what I would recommend. All right. So coming over to what's the manager, I don't really mess with this, anything like that. It's all in our settings. I'm going to go right over to site content before we jump into pages, because one of the top questions, you can sync your Zillow and it'll show up. The Zillow sync will be small on that sidebar. And then agents like, but why isn't it on my homepage where we have our testimonials? Only the ones we manually add will be on our homepage in the little carousel that's, moving around. Also, it'll create a page for testimonials under our About section. You have to manually add those. So it's super easy. Copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. If you have them in Zillow, I personally, even on the Zillow sidebar, if you have over 100, absolutely sync that. Like you're a Zillow agent, show it off. You're full. If you only have 25, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. Then you can also, because if I go to add testimonial, literally the name, the testimonial, and then you'll see this little 5-star. It's grayed by default, but you can have that little stars right here by just clicking on those stars. And of course, we're not going to put 2 stars. We're going to click on the 5, right? So make sure manually copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. That will be what can go over to your team or company. If they have those inherited from the agents, it's going to show up on your homepage. And at least manually adding one will create this testimonial tab on here. And you can see here, this is what the Zillow review, I have no idea where this is pulling from, but this is what it would look like, the Zillow. But you still have to create the page for you to see those Zillows. So how to create the page is manually adding at least one review. I would say add them all. Add as many as you want. Make it part of your closing checklist. Like in that closing checklist, one of those is, sending an email to get reviews. I believe you can send them right to your website. Boom. Now it's going to automatically be added right there for you. Boom, boom, boom. So you can do that. Just make it part of the checklist, whether you're sending them the link to this page on your website, or if you have multiple links that you're sending out, you can do that, or just copy and paste the one that you get like from Zillow. So any agents I do, when they get a review, they just forward it to me and I copy paste, make a graphic. I do all, it's kind of like a process. So just put that in your closing checklist to manually add the reviews as they come in. I think we all wish we had the problem of, getting 20 reviews a month and it becomes too much. Manually just copy paste. I mean, it'll literally take, 30 seconds once you copy paste. Boom, boom, boom. That's going to create that page. Coming over here to service areas and SEO. If I come over here, because I have a lot more on my office than I do on my personal. So there's a button to add all cities. And I believe any class you take with Inside Real Estate, they're going to say, click them all. If you're in an area like Stellar has, kind of encompasses 16 counties, I think in Florida or something like that, you can add all. And you'll see here let me go over to ours because you'll be able to see the difference. And when you add in a lot, it's going to have a view more, click here. So you kind of get lost in that. But I personally manually add all the cities. All I have to do is just go to search and add it right there. I'm trying to think of maybe something I don't already have. Let's see. So you can see all the different areas. Maybe I want to add in, if it's a city, there's an area and a city. I personally always use the city option. And what we found is when I come over to, let me just look up Cocoa Beach real quick. You're going to see if you add city, it'll actually add in all the subdivisions for that city when they click on that page. If I add an area, that has not shown up. So that's one thing, the difference. Area is going to give you more area because it's more of instead of the MLS city. But the cities are what give me all of these links for subdivisions. Now this is an index with SEO and all that kind of fun stuff. And of course, making it super easy. It's in alphabetical order and I didn't have to do anything. It's like magic. It just appears. So, oh, I have not heard that. As far as a carousel, I've seen them all on my homepage when I add them. So you're saying in this little carousel, and I think this one doesn't move, it only shows 10. I don't know that I have more than 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, there's Sheil. And you just asked the question. Oh, I don't even know, because I think it's just keeps going back and forth. I don't know. I'm going to have to look into that. I have not heard that. But 10's better than none, even if it is only 10. The only part that stinks is then I guess it's only going to show the most recent, and then somebody just needs to go to view all and it'll take them to that page. Good question, though. I guess I just haven't paid that much attention. But it'll show the 10 most recent, and that kind of makes sense. And then they just click the view all and it takes them to the full page. So good question, though. I did not know that. So interesting. Oh, okay. So interesting, but they click view all. And so I'm assuming it's the 10 most recent ones will be on that homepage carousel, but on that drop down, the full page, it's everything that we've added. Cause I do 25 every time I do a website. So I know I can display a lot more than that. So interesting. I did not know that about the carousel. All right. So coming down here, you just go in, you find the city, you click it. It's going to add it in here. Just know there's a couple things on the site content. You see, I have a bunch of stuff in all these blocks. So let me see if I can zoom in so you can see a little bit more. So you can see the city. This is where I type in keywords, and it's, you can go to ChatGPT, just type in kind of keywords. It's, I have the state, real estate, homes for sale, buyer, blah, 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 blah. Just kind of keywords. And of course, I also have that city in there. The second spot is page text. So you just saw above the default, which is all right here is what the page looks like. I think they're fantastic. When someone clicks on that, they're going to see all the information, demographics, all of that. But you notice I have text and a video. So in this spot here, and then I added those pages. So that's where all these city pages come from. So this second spot here is where you can add in text. I got fancy, added a video. I like my font a little larger because I have old eyes. I think their default is like 12 points or something. To me, it's super tiny. But you can add in text to be able to display above the original content. So it's a perfect opportunity if you have videos of an area. You can see here, Florida has a huge tourism division. I just went to the Space Coast YouTube channel and grabbed a video. They have something for all the cities. So I just basically embedded one of their videos onto my page. I went to ChatGPT, had it write me up content for a page. Usually I don't like this much content because then you don't see all the good stuff underneath of that. But you can add in all that. If you want to get fancy and embed a video and not just have content, I could type in font content right here and it's just plain text. If I want to get fancy, embed a video, make header, add graphics, do something like that, it has to be all HTML. I am not a coder, but I do know how to copy and paste. Just come over to the blog and we're going to go into that. You go to the blog, you write it, you put it however you want. You're going to click the source code and copy and paste it right in this little block right here. That way you have beautiful, bigger text, bold fonts, customize it however you want, just like you would a blog. Add that so it shows up on the top of the page. I know that's a little more what I call tech it to the max, but it's just, I don't know how to write code. I know enough to be dangerous and kind of read it, but I know how to copy and paste. So that's what I would do. But make sure, add all the cities in here, and then make sure add in SEO. Wherever we can add SEO, always add in that search engine optimization for your website. And this is one of the top places besides your content itself and the pages and stuff like that. So do all that. Now we're going to come over to widgets, because that is mostly the home page, what you want on your home page. And you can see right here, featured area widget. This is my favorite. If you're going to add any widgets, the featured area widget is basically, when I come down here, it is those searches. Whether you can do cities, you can do counties, you can do, and you get 9 blocks. I think I only have 6, but you can have 9. You can do lifestyle living. So let's go play with that. Let's see, what do I have on our homepage? I think it's just cities. Yes. So you can see here, I have cities. So in mine, I have lifestyle. It's 1 county. So if you serve multiple counties, multiple areas, counties may make more sense. So you get to decide, maybe add in a few. If you focus on residential or commercial, maybe those are the searches you want to be adding for those. And you can really change up your website through the graphics. And I always have to show, because I remember when Sue was doing her website, I'm like, oh, how am I going to make a Remax? Oh, what happened? Oh, it changed. Oh, I have to get with her, because it just changed to her office domain. They need to fix her back to the Remax domain, because it just took away all of her cool stuff. All right. So bad excuse. We made her website all pink. She just apparently, sometimes that happens where your domain changes from, like mine changed from heatherholiday.remax.com. And then one day, all of a sudden it was heatherholiday.brevardelite.com, which is my office domain. And I lost everything I did on my website, which you just saw. That just happened on Sue. So I have to get with her. I had to go to support. They fixed it back for me. If I had my own domain fully set up, that would have never happened. But I don't. I'm just using, my own. I may have one forwarded, not the same. If I had it fully set up through Bold Trail, that would never happen. I've seen that happen on a team as well. So something to think about. We got to always change. Keywords, yes. So keywords, description, all of that, that's all going to help with that search engine optimization. The same with adding blogs and just different content for sure. Any place we can do that. So now we come over here, featured area widget, my favorite. Again, just like when we're changing those themes, sometimes when I switch a theme, it'll say we have to remove all your widgets because it has a whole widget packet it wants to add. Then you come over here and it's like, oh, my featured widgets are out. They disappeared. They're gone. Oh my gosh. And there's all this other stuff in there. It's okay, because our widgets are all in our history, everything we've ever added. So I add a lot of maybe custom stuff. I can do that. Here's everything in the date. So if you've done the same widget a couple times, it'll have the date. So that way it's like, oh yeah, this is the most recent one. You can re-add whatever you want. So again, I don't think you can break it. We're going to see. We're going to see if she can break it. But add in, you can re-add in. Super easy. Or if you're like, oh my gosh, I was playing, my website's ugly. The office had set it up really nice. I can just basically revert to default, remove all those, and you're going to see all of the office stuff. If your office has something set up, all of a sudden you're going to see that box show up and it's going to be grayed out and it says you're inheriting from the office. So if you want to add in your own, it's like, then you have to add it. Even then, I could say revert to default and I get the office and I don't want to have all of it. I just want the featured areas. Everything's going to be in history. It'll show your office block. Just don't touch it and you're fine. It'll have all those same searches. To change the featured area widget, all you have to do, let me go back to mine. Let me go toggle back over to my website so I can mess up my website. So you can see I only have 2 here. I edit it. Yes, the office has it all set up, but I want my own. So I came in here and just added my own. So I can come over here to edit. Here are mine. And I just want to show how easy it is. I come over here, add an area. What do I want? So maybe I want Brevard County, new construction, which I kind of already have, I guess, but we're just playing. So I can come over here. Maybe I want to add zip codes. Maybe I want to add a city, a county. They do have schools. Those definitely always kind of look at those. Some websites I get more issues than others when I'm doing school districts, but I know like Pennsylvania, everything's done on a school district. So here's where if I had a city, I have a county. So I'm just going to type in Brevard. Boom. Now I have my area. Now I have my different photo. If I wanted to do a map, I could completely click on map and set that up. Or that's where I draw on map and I can choose what do I want to do. And I can just, if it's just this one little area, I can zoom in and find a little lake and, just kind of do my own. So I'm going to cancel out of that. If I have my own photo, maybe I don't want that. Maybe I want to see what else is there. So I can go to change image. I'm going to have all the images I've ever added, but I could also use some of their stock images. So they have a lot of nice, like kind of interior, nice interior photos that they have. So you can choose. It'll automatically put one in there, but you can go and choose from one of their stock photos or upload your own. Again, never, ever, ever just go to Google and do a search for a graphic and use something you find on the internet. Lots of lawsuits, copyright, all that. Go to Canva, go to Pixabay, Pexels, buy one on Shutterstock. There's all sorts of places where you can go and get free graphics to use. Or better yet, if you're doing subdivisions on a beautiful summer day, go and take pictures of areas. That's what, especially, during COVID times, I was like, go out there and take all these pictures. Then it's your photo and it's more custom to your area. So if you're doing larger subdivisions or cities, do a photo of a landmark. That's going to make it more unique to you. It's more local. People that are around you that get it. It's like you're never just selling a house. You're selling a way of life. Showcase that in your photos that you're using on your website. All right. So that's where we could change it. These are the different options. So if you have different, and again, mine may look different than yours. It all depends on your MLS. So you can come over here if you only want condos, if you only want, single family, townhouses, something like that. I can also price range. So maybe one of yours is what can you get for, maybe it's under 500,000 in Brevard or something like that. You can completely make it unique, and it's super easy to change if you're like, I don't really like that. For me, a lot of times we'll do the pool homes as soon as, June comes, like summertime. In a lot of areas, we'll switch maybe new construction to pool or something like that because everybody wants pool homes. So you can change it up as often as you want. So you can come over here, if you do land, something like that. Here are just other very basic options you can choose run from. And that is whether it's just listed, new construction, open houses, 55 plus, green energy, horse property, golf course, pool, waterfront, water view. Views, I did not know. That worked out pretty well, like in my area, like mountain views. So I never thought of that, but that did work. I have no idea. It all depends on the agent entering the information into the MLS. But there's a lot of different things that you can do on here to be able to choose what you want. So maybe you do a lot of condos. So maybe you want to have just condos that allow pets, like pet-friendly condos, and have a photo of, a condo or something. You can change this up, make it completely yours. You can edit anything that you currently have. That to me is the number one way you can modify your website, making it user-friendly. Anybody coming to your website with one click can go to a predetermined easy search on your website. And of course, when you're over here under widgets, again, you can't really break it. You can add stuff, you can maneuver it around, adjust it. So you can add some widgets, go look at it. I will say when you see some are only half, you want to make sure to add another half because otherwise it's going to be off-centered and not look right. So if you use one of these that show half, make sure you're using two halves because two halves equal a whole, and that'll end up creating that whole banner on that website. So lots of things, play with it, go to your website, refresh it, see what it looks like. We'll have to do an advanced class because some of these widgets, I can get into the code to change the background color and all that fun stuff on there. By default, some are white, some have a black background. I believe the luxury is going to have more of that white, depending on your template. And then the ones that don't have luxury, like the Contact Us, is going to be a black background. Or on the luxury, I believe it's the navy. So just depending on that, we can kind of change photos and, different colors, definitely more advanced. So not getting fully into that, but I am going to go right over to, let's go to pages. Yep. Hopefully I answered that question when I went into that featured area. Doing that save search, one of those options was 55 plus. And again, the information's only as good as the agent who enters the MLS. So always check on those to make sure it actually gives you that accurate information. Sometimes we have to play with it a little bit, but I love the featured areas. That's all for that homepage. Now, the next thing is your pages. That's adding content to your pages. They have a ton of templates that you can already choose from. You can come up here to really go over anything that you want to do. Number one question, I created the about me, but it's not showing up, but it's not changing the about the agent profile on my website. Correct. This agent profile is pulling directly from your MAXCenter profile. So anything that may not be correct on here, you need to go to your MAXCenter account, go right up here, update your profile. When you're in your profile, and I will just say in general information under your name, the title, most people, number one question is, why does that say associate? I want it to say realtor or rock star or whatever the case may be. Your title is where that associate defaults to associate if you don't have a title, which most of us have never used that title area before. It has never pulled over to any of the RE/MAX past websites. So a lot of us didn't have that. It's like, well, where is that associate pulling from? Or licensed sales agent, depending on what state you're in. That is all. Go to contact, go to your name, click on edit. All the way at the bottom, that's the job title. So if you don't want it to say associate, you want it to say realtor, broker, associate, something like that. That is the job title. That is where that is pulling from. Just like all of your bio, your profile, all of that information is pulling from your MLS. So here's like if you are manager on that broker logo and stuff, that's where you have like different office locations where you should go and change. Like if I go to my office images, you're going to have different ones. So here's mine. You can see it's there and the logo. So again, when you're uploading those, make sure they're as cropped as much as possible. Then they'll show up larger on the websites. So if you have multiple offices, you just need to change that location. Every location will be different. Your agents are inheriting their branch location. Unless you have one office, then everything's on that company level. You don't have to worry about it. So just different things. Make sure to go into your profile. I will say, just because we're on this, make sure when you're under your contact information that you have your cell phone number under that mobile cell phone spot. Because if you don't, the office smart number is going to be what shows up because you don't have anything to pull over from. And we don't want the office smart number on our website or any of that stuff that's going out to consumers, because that's it's going to basically round robin a lead to anybody in the office unless that person who's calling you is already in your database. So that may not be happening. Always, always, always make sure your mobile cell is in that mobile spot. I want to say in the old Boosh sites, it was under direct. So a lot of us needed to go and switch that so that it is under the mobile cell phone. So that's just a tip in general. But on that about page, when you're over here, this would be something completely separate, a different page, maybe a tab, on the menu bar or something like that. It's not replacing because that is all pulling from our MAXCenter profile. It's just something in addition. But there are a lot of great pages kind of pre-done that you can just go in there and edit and just kind of, even if you went to ChatGPT, any AI, Gemini, all those fun places to help you fill in the blanks, because I think a lot of this is in like Latin, so it's just generic information and taking forever. Hello, hello, hello. Usually it doesn't take this long. All right, I'm going to go back and just start from scratch. Oh, there it goes. So they do have where they have the templates. They are really nice. It's just very, very, very generic. You can change out the photos if you want. You can change out the backgrounds, all of that kind of stuff over here into settings. So you just saw like that content. Let me click on that again. It has the background. I already have a lot of my colors. My Remix brand colors are already in here. So I could, easily just change that background. I'm going to show you how to completely build it yourself as well. But you can change out graphics, just change the image, change any of that. To me, it's just a lot easier to just start from scratch than trying to figure out who, what is where on a particular page. So I'm just going to click back. Oh, I would not have that unless you're paying for your own smart number. Your office smart number is right here. It is shared by every agent in the office. So you don't want to have that anywhere, because what happens when somebody calls or texts that smart number and they're not already in the system, that's where the smart part comes. It basically, the rule is, whatever the office has set up, but it's just going to round robin to the next agent on lead rotation. The smart number is great if you have text codes. Then you want to put you want to set up your text code and, do it that way. Unless you're paying for your own smart number, you don't want that smart number displayed anywhere, because you don't want someone to call or text it, but you don't have them in your database. It's just going to go to the next person on rotation. So that's just there. So we know you do need to put your smart number in your phone and put a bunch of $ in there. So you could put, Max Assistant with a bunch of $signs. If somebody's calling or texting from that number, they're in your database, and that's money. So definitely do that. No, because it's a smart number. It's like a voice over IP. Unless you have your own smart number, then you can kind of tell it what to do. But on an office level, you can't tell it to go to the office. It's, the way it's kind of set up, I think it has to go to a different number. It's very tricky. I like to use the smart numbers for my text codes. Other than that, I don't touch it. Text codes, amazing. But other than that, my smart number would not be displayed anywhere. I probably, because I love the text code so much, I would have my own. I would pay, I think it's $28 a month to have my own, because then I could just tell it exactly what I want it to do and, round robin, especially on a team level, stuff like that. But this is shared with your entire office. So, and it's office wide, not company wide if you have multiple locations. So for my office that I'm with, all of the agents in there have it. My Melbourne office, all of those different offices. Yeah, the smart number is only displayed if it does not know where your mobile number is. If you have a mobile number, your mobile number in your profile, that mobile number will be everywhere it should be. If you do not have inside of your profile your mobile number, that's when the smart number would pull from, because it doesn't know what your mobile number is. So that's, if you ever see like on your market report or your presents, your CMAs, and you see this number versus your cell phone number, you need to go into your Max Center profile and add in your mobile number. And just like I said earlier, when you change anything in your profile, it's not like everything else we do on our website where it's automatically changed. I believe they only sync a couple times a day. So if you do change your photo, your bio, any of your title, it may take a few hours for you to see that change on your website and all of those places. But other than that, that smart number is in your dashboard. So you should be adding it to your cell phone as a contact and put a bunch of dollar signs. I call her Maxie because she's my assistant, right? And a bunch of dollar signs. So you do want to do that. But when it comes over to our content, here we go over to custom pages. I'm just going to create a custom page. I always go straight to my advanced options first. You're going to give it a page name. And I think I already have a bunch of these tests from previous classes. Category. If you've never set up a category, that's going to be blank. Or if you set up a category on our old editor, they don't talk to each other. So you're not going to see, it's like, wait, maybe I set up your website and we had all these categories. The new content editor, which is so much better, does not recognize the old one. So you'll have to set up a new category. So here I would do new, or I could, put it in one that I already have. So you would just type in a new category test, 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just adding one in, and then I have to click on add new category, put the new category in, hit enter. Now I can still in my navigation add just this page, or I can add it under a category, which will just start showing up under my drop downs. If you're a team leader and you're doing your team site, or you're on the office scope, it can be a page that you get to decide, do you want your agents to also have this content or not? So when I'm doing like my preferred lenders and stuff like that, I don't want that going to my agents. I want them to add their own lenders or whatnot. So I may not have that. But if I'm doing like a generic buy page, I'm doing all my guides, absolutely, I want them to have all that content. So I'll add that to the site. You get to decide. And then make sure that you add in that description, those keywords. I know I just posted a video last week in the Tech and Tools where you can add in like the keeping current matters. There are mortgage RSS feeds, which are basically other blogs, and you can embed that as a page on your website. So this is where you would add in a property feed. If you want it to just be a link that goes to another website, like we have on our office. So when you go to our careers and you click that, it's going to our recruiting website. It's not a page we built in here. It's a completely separate site. So you can do that, but still always add in search engine optimization. I just keep them kind of in Google Drive so I can copy paste a little formula. I am not as smart as Google, but I know I need to put something in there. So that's where I put in this information. I go to save. Now I can build. And you can tell I've already done that. So it didn't like that. That slug has already been taken. So let me get rid of that and save. You'll get an error if there's already been a page with that or anything like that. So there's all the stuff. If you've used the editor for your email marketing, it looks very similar. I personally go to rows because it makes it a lot easier for me to truly customize. So I can, start dragging in stuff. Oh, I want to add my buttons. I have 3 buttons I want to add. I'm going to put it there. So you can add in the look and feel. Maybe you're adding in a blog or something. Maybe I want to use a picture here. So you can completely set this up. Maybe I want an image. Maybe I do add a spacer at that top. I have noticed on my new pages, like if I come over to buying, if I don't add a spacer, this text right here almost encroaches that top. So if I come over to my office blog, okay, it's not doing it now. Oh, because no, this is my actual. I was trying to find real estate news. That's okay. That just went to another website, but I used to have the feed on here too. So that's just something. Let me see. This one's mine because I just added the mortgage news from one of the summit classes that we just did. Do I have all of these? Are more links? Buy, sell. Nope. Must have taken it off. But that's where you can add in. I like to add a spacer. It's just so, and my title isn't, I don't want it butting that top part of the website. So I just add in that little spacer block. But I could say, oh, I want an image here. I want to add my social in this block. I just click on it. I can change where it goes. I can change the look and feel. Maybe I want it to be all one color. Maybe I want to have buttons that go to my guides over here. So I just drag and drop all this fun stuff. I can come over. Let's see. So I have the image there. I don't need it there. I could, when I do rows, you can see here's when, because I'm doing a whole row, I can select that whole row and change the background to be something else. Maybe I want my buttons to be red, like have them pop out. I can make them, bigger font. I can do all sorts of different things within here. Trust me, I could spend hours just on this aspect alone of building the sites, but I will just show you. So you go in there, you build it, then we're going to be able to save it when we're all done. But if you want it to go live, so you could be working on it and save it, only when you publish it will it be like a live page. But still, until you have it, unless you have it in a category that's already in your title, your menu bar, or you add it as a standalone page, you're not going to see anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and let me change this image because I'm sure I have graphics here. We'll just put this there. Oh, that's big, right? So here, perfect example, it says auto width. No. We don't need it that big. We're just going to make that a little smaller for us. I could come over here. Let's go find another, and you can upload. They have a lot of free graphics too. So you can search free graphics and all that. So I'm just going to add this. I think that's from something else I was working on. Lots of cool things that you can be doing. And again, I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm going to publish this just so we can add it to the navigation bar real quick. Publish. Then it's live. And I'm going to come right back. I just click the back arrow. Now I have all of my different options. Remember, I put that in the test 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I have to basically come back to my website settings. And we had gone through the whole long way. You don't have to do that. We're going to come right here, custom navigation. And this is right here where I could start to test 1, 2, 3, 4. Do I want the page or the category? So if I only have one page, I could just do the page. But if it's going to be a category like buy, sell, something like that, I want to add it on a category so I can create that drop down. It's going to allow me to add a lot more pages on my website. So I'm just going to do page, and then we hit save. And then I can refresh my website. And it should show up there. There we go. So there's my half attempt of doing a page to be fun. I want to show you some pages just so you can get an idea of different things that you can do. So here's like the, thinking of buying and selling. I had ChatGPT help. I actually added videos. This goes to our landing pages that we've created for lead gen. So it goes to like a relocation guide, that goes to a buyer's guide. We have video. I could add a search bar. I added this. I added a mortgage calculator. So you can completely create pages just for you. And the more content, the better. And of course, I like ChatGPT or AI to kind of help me because I'm a horrible writer. I'm a visual person. So it helps me, and then I can link back and all that kind of fun stuff. So then we have thinking of selling, just all those different ideas. Again, we have like keeping current matters. So we have some seller videos on there. Let's see here. Office blog. That's basically all of the blogs because I'm constantly adding blogs. So it just takes you to the last one. Resources. This takes you to all the guides, real estate news, property management, hurricane tips. And then I created a blog category. The one downfall of adding blogs is you only see the 4 of the latest blogs, like on your homepage. I love the blogs because they will go out to all of the emails that go out, like, your market reports, your listing alerts, all of that, your blogs will go to that email. This I just did to make it super easy for people, maybe me, to be able to find these links, to be able to share on social. A lot of them I can kind of repurpose and all of that. So it's going to have, as we build out our blogs, it's going to have, obviously, I want my area blogs to be top. Now I do the market snapshot every month that those come out. Then we have just kind of generic keeping current matters, just buyer, seller, generic positive news, and then the national housing. So we all get this. I just kind of combine those 3 graphics into one graphic. And then I kind of copy and paste. I lead it to Remax, their blog, and I embed their YouTube video. So it gives me different ways to be able to add my own content on my own website, or this one's their content. It's national news. I do the same thing when it comes to like our Brevard County market housing snap. So I have the graphic, then I have all of the verbiage that we get from our board, and then I do a video from all of those numbers that we get. I just do them right in Canva. I just want stuff on YouTube. Everything links back to each other. I can share the graphic to social media. It says for full details and information, click here. It's going to land on this page. It's all about driving traffic to my website. It's what I really love doing. So that's where I think adding blogs and content is fantastic. I try to make my website like a hub of information, not just for someone searching for real estate, because they're probably on a different app or something, but what else to help find my website through blogs, content pages, sharing that to social, adding it to my monthly newsletters, being that local expert. I want somebody to be able to go to my website to know what's going on for each month or anything like that. So on my blog categories page could be, this was all of our miracle agents. So it's just different things to do. And I have different sites saved that have different events that are going on, and I link them so that way they can easily find, and it's kind of that third party linking and all that fun stuff. So provide all of that information. All right, I'm going to go over because we went way over what we normally do, but yeah, I guess it's not a simple 30-minute class. When I get started on websites, I get so excited. I could just go on and on forever. Let's see. Oh, absolutely. You can grab any video from YouTube that you want. So if you go to YouTube and let's see, I want to just search for, like, I have all of mine. So I'll just go to my channel real quick and just click on any base. Okay, so let's pretend it's a beautiful video of my area. This is what I want. It's already starting at 8 seconds. I don't care about that. This is exactly what you want. The V equals any. I know when it came for Christmas and fall and stuff and Halloween, I did a blog and it had a lot of cool videos that Bold Trail had for us, as well as ones that I created in Canva and uploaded. So absolutely use any of them. And I know we did share a bunch of kind of generic videos. I have them on my website. So that first link on my website portfolio or building websites, I have 2. I have kind of like a lifestyle where it has people that are kind of buying home, like moving. It's all animated. And I have another one that's more interior. That's going to be kitchens, living rooms, more generic, not local. So it, if you're in Indiana or Florida, it doesn't matter. It's interior videos. And I keep them about 3 minutes long. I made them all in Canva using their videos, downloaded it, uploaded it to YouTube. And now I have that video to be able to use for my website. Let's see. Turning on. I am not sure how long that takes. And the parent setting, I guess it would depend maybe if your office has gone through the settings inside of Bold Trail or anything like that, you can absolutely use parents. So the parent setting is going to be whatever your office has set up. if they have not done much on here or not very knowledgeable, they might not have it set up, but you can override that by setting up your own. And I'm not sure how long it takes once you do that it may be with the next sync would be what I would assume, but you know what that does, because it's not everything on our website's through an IDX feed. So it just depends on when that syncing actually happens, would be my thinking of when you click duplicate for that. But if anybody knows any differently, then put it in here for sure. That's just, I would only assume that just because that part of the settings is going to be part of your IDX syndication. So I'm thinking that would have to be with the next syndication, maybe. Let's see here. Oh yeah, I do everything in Canva. Everything now. I used to use Illustrator, Photoshop. Oh my gosh, Canva just makes my life so much easier, especially since I did all my graphics in November and December, and then January Instagram's like, oh, we have a new grid size, and now I get to redo everything. Yay. All right, let's see. Yes, this is always available. Michelle, you know how to find all those. And it should be in the link from the group. And anybody who registered for this, we'll get an email with that replay, because I know we went way over. Oh, share it, Anna, share it. I was just thinking about that because those are like my favorite. I realized in my graphics, I'm always using those trees because they're so pretty. I want to see it. So you have to share that YouTube video, or we'll have to create some. But of course, if there's anything else, as you guys get different questions inside the MAXTECH and tools, ask a question. I mean, we have a lot of trainers in there that are in here every single day, and we love helping everybody take their websites, take everything that we do inside of Bold Trail. It is an amazing system that we have. You probably won't even use every aspect. I do try to cover a lot of the different videos. I know we have a lot of videos like in our guide section. I have a ton I posted on my YouTube. Oh, I do want to add back, because you guys need to make sure, and I know we've posted this a few times, Anna and I, but these are phenomenal. And I can't believe I almost did not go to the playbook, but I didn't have an appointment. I was like, oh, I'm going to go join that class, because they have that new playbook. I think it used to say coming soon, that third option on your dashboard. Oh my gosh. Game changer, the work in your sphere. I want to say that was coming soon, and it is there. So go play with that. That was awesome. So definitely go register for these classes. I think you'll get a little badge if you watch 5 live classes or 10 replays, but all of these will be, I think it's a week after the live class, they will be up here. So instead of seeing register, you'll probably some like on-demand link where you register. These are phenomenal. I mean, there's 36 classes this month. My calendar is crazy, but they're awesome. Some amazing things, from even the Ask Me Anything. I think that was last Thursday. The amount of questions that came in, they couldn't even, cover everything, but lots and lots and lots of nuggets, lots of great things. I cannot wait personally for all the more advanced, but it even has the level, where are you in your journey in working inside of Bold Trail? So take these, register for them. They're phenomenal. They'll be living all the replays on here. I think they're only going to be here through April. So make sure to somehow add it to your list, whether you register and watch live with us. We have a lot of fun in the chats. So for sure, join those. It's phenomenal. And of course, on your homepage here, this Unite conference. Oh, that was weird. Oh, it did that. I went last year to give it a try. It's kind of like Bold Trail or Inside Real Estate's little conference. It was phenomenal last year. I had a lot of fun. And of course, if you're like me and you do a lot of these trainings that are done by the training team at Bold Trail, it was really nice to be able to see and meet and hang out and dance and have a good time with all of the trainers that are over at Inside Real Estate. They are so super knowledgeable and just a lot of fun. I had a blast. If you are going, I want you to send me a private message. I want us to have, lunch together or something like that, but I will be there. I'm sad I can't do the full Sunday training day. That I took more notes during that one full day training than I did the entire week at R4. Lots and lots of ideas and nuggets and stuff like that. But I have another camping event with my husband, so I'll be shooting over there as soon as I'm done with that. I'll miss the Sunday unless it gets canceled. They had to cancel when there wasn't enough people, so who knows? I may be able to be there. Definitely a great conference. It's obviously a lot smaller, but it was phenomenal. If you're going, please let me know so we can do lunch and hang out and all that fun stuff. Thank you, Anna, for doing that. And I think that's it. We went way over today, but there's a lot of fun stuff in websites. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure in that Tech and Tools group every Tuesday, I have tips and videos and stuff like that. But really, I build out my library of tutorials based on the questions and feedback and stuff I see inside the groups or what I see from all of my agents. So let me know so I can make videos or training. I do not have anything for April set up for my monthly morning mastery classes or whatnot, looking for ideas. And with all the training that Remax has for us in March, I was like, woo. And then April is Unite and all of these fun things. So I just haven't even been able to think that far out. But of course, always looking for ideas. Maybe we'll have Anna, some other people in here. Anybody, if you think you're a rock star at anything and can help agents and how you use the system or anything Remax Tools related, let me know. I would love to not have it be the whole Heather show. I'd love to have you do a live class inside of our groups and all that fun stuff. But we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.